Support for Domestic Draft is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with our code DOMESTICDRAFT at manscaped.com. Now, it's not always easy trimming up your goods, but the Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold it all. The Lawnmower 4.0 is the greatest ball trimmer ever. The fourth generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has an LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess on the bathroom floor. You want to take your grooming game even further? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate nose holes. Their Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver Ball Toner will change the way you approach the hygiene routine. Trust me when I say your balls will thank you. It's time to take care of yourself, so go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with our code DOMESTICDRAFT. Again, that's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with our code DOMESTICDRAFT, all one word. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
All
right.
Man,
Welcome to the
let's
Domestic
go.
Draft Podcast. I'm Evan Bierman here with Dan Slowick. We got an interesting show for you today. We got a special guest coming on in a little bit, but Dan, first, I want to know what you're drinking there. See you staring at the can.
Yeah, I was reading it on the site. Topa Topa. I know we were discussing how to pronounce it. Is it Tapa Tapa or Topa Topa? It's T-O-P-A, T-O-P-A. It's a brewery in Ventura. So not quite San Diego, but it's in Ventura, which is northwest of LA. I was just out grocery shopping for Thanksgiving. So I saw it and I bought it and I haven't done them. So it's a IPA that I'm drinking. It's called Spectro. And a little bit about the company and then about the beer. So they were founded in 2015 and it's in between the Topa Topa Mountains in Ojai. So between there and the shore is kind of where they had their facility. It was a bunch of home brewers. They had like a place that they rented out and they had like 12 people doing like communal home brewing in a space. And then two of them decided to they had what it took to kind of just start their own business and stop doing this communal home brewing. So they got together and started it in 2015. They said they almost didn't open because all their equipment was like stuck on a barge during a labor strike for the port. So a bunch of their equipment almost didn't make it. And then there was like a wildfire near there that almost took them out. And then COVID hit as well. But they stayed through it. They're still going strong today. They are also a 1% for the planet company. So what that means basically is all sales, they donate 1% to approved environmental nonprofits. And they really kind of preach like an outdoorsy lifestyle. The can I have has like a story about like ending a hike and craving this beer. So they're all kind of about high-end ingredients, being outside and enjoying a good beer. So the notes of the beer are tropical, dank, citrus. It's a 3.5 on Untapped. It's really good, really easy IPA, easy hazy. What do you got?
Nice. So I have Northman Cider Company. They're out of Buena Park in Chicago. Northman Pub was founded in 2016 as Chicago's first cider-centric bar and restaurant. The Northman location soon evolved into a large venue on Chicago's Riverwalk to showcase some of the ciders to a global audience. And that's when they say they got serious about getting Northman Cider Company up and running. I have here the Rosé cider. It was the second iteration that they created. It's a 6.5%. It gets a 3.82 on Untapped. It's pretty dry and slightly sweet, but they say their ciders are unapologetically dry, letting the carefully sourced fruit shine, creating a naturally refreshing drink for all locations. I will say it is pretty refreshing. And speaking of all natural, we're going to go from the Northman to the VanMan. That's our next guest joining us today. He is the VanMan. He is at Man with a Van on Twitter, the VanMan Company on Instagram, and his website is www.vanman.shop. VanMan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So
Absolutely.
I'm curious. I saw a bunch of your ads on social media and I ended up buying one of your products. It's great. And I'm curious of the story, man. How do you go and start your own business? And how did you get into the sector that you're in? And what was the kind of light bulb moment or the ideation of all of this?
Yeah, so like really it started from living in a van. Like I always was always
So
trying
it's
different
not just a clever name.
yeah. So yeah, I was like I was always trying different businesses. Like some of them got really successful and then failed, and then some of them just failed from the beginning. And then eventually I just found myself getting like soft. So I was just not like where I wanted to be. I didn't have the energy I wanted to have. I wanted to like get in the gym more. So I just like sold all my stuff, bought a nice, or not a nice van, but like a shitty van, and just wanted to live in
A
that for
van.
like a year. Yeah, and then it was like $1,500. And then there was a bed in the back, so I just wanted to like simplify my life and just like worry about trying to do well at my job, try to make something work on the side, and then just try to like get in the gym. And then I just started like tweeting just like about van life, like what I was doing, what I was eating, how I was like living, where I was parking. And that was that Twitter account, Man with a Van. And then I had that for like about a year or so. And then I just like accidentally bought this fluoride toothpaste. Shit. So then yeah, I was just like getting into like these health things. So I was like realizing like all the stuff that we've been told has just been like lies. And one of those things was just like fluoride and all these like name brand toothpaste. So I eventually like got off that, but I accidentally bought it and then was using it for like a month. And then I just decided to like cut off all toothpaste and just use baking soda.
Hmm.
And then so I started using baking soda for like a few weeks, months,
And
and then
is that just from like researching, or
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
just
say, how did you just land on baking soda?
well, I like used it as a kid. Like I was like my dad like made me brush with
it's
baking soda after I brushed with my toothpaste. So like I
like
just like
Arm and Hammer? Yeah.
yeah, and then just looking at it's like really not abrasive. People think it's abrasive, but it's like one of the least abrasive things. And then you could just use that as toothpaste, but it's like super salty and like doesn't smell good,
Mm-hmm.
not pleasant. So I started like adding more stuff to it just for myself. And then I never really thought to like sell the product in the beginning, but then I like had a product that was like I started adding like charcoal and clay. And then the aha moment was like with eggshells. Like I couldn't find I thought like eggshells would be good for teeth. So I started looking at studies on that. And then like there was like studies that said like reverse cavities and it was like the same chemical makeup as teeth. So I wanted to like buy that, but then I couldn't find it. So then I sourced some eggshell and like put that in there. And then I'd like realized I had something like different and like unique.
So
And
you're
then
kind of like testing it on yourself a little bit to see like trial and
yeah,
error, what works, what's tolerable from like a taste standpoint or from like a I don't know, texture standpoint in your mouth, and you kind of just made it all like how many different variations, like 100 or
it's probably like 50 plus, like
50
just like
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
like little variations, just like maybe this was like too dark with charcoal, or like yeah, just like little things. Hard to say exactly how many, but yeah, eventually just like came on one, and then like swapped out calcium powder for eggshells, and that was when I thought I like had like the solidified product. And then
So you make that for yourself, right? But then when does the idea that you could possibly package it and start selling it, right? Because you're kind of doing this to, be a little healthier on your end, save some money as well, find out what's
yeah.
really like pure and good for you, and then you go, well, maybe other people want this.
Yeah, it was like the Twitter account. So I had posted
Mm-hmm.
like this is my new toothpaste. Like I really like it. It's like you can make it for yourself. And then like people are just asking like, well, where do I get this ingredient? Where I get this? And like just realized like most people aren't gonna make something for themselves. They'd rather just buy a completed product. So then I just started like thinking about what I was gonna make it as. Like I was gonna market it as just like some organic tooth powder
Mm-hmm.
brand. And then like my friend Chris, like you knew him before, he was just saying like, why don't you combine this product with like your man with the van Twitter account, the VanMan account. And I was like, oh shit, like this is perfect. Like this is like exactly what I like need to do. And that just became clear after that. Like I just want to basically go after all these products that I used to buy and like not know what was in there. And I liked them all. Like they were all like I thought were good products, but just like take them all back. So like go after
Mm-hmm.
toothpaste. And then I used to be like a big Burt's Bees user.
Mm-hmm.
And that has like that changed the whole recipe because they were bought by Clorox, like doing like a new lip balm recipe for that.
Uh-huh.
And just going down the line, like a new face product like for your skin, and then hair product. And then I just want to keep going with that and get more and more products.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that goes perfectly with the nomad life, right? Of living in a van and making your own stuff. So that was like a match made in heaven there for sure.
Yeah.
What about now? Like, as far as production goes, sure you're selling more than just a couple that you can make, by yourself.
Yeah.
What does that look like now?
Yeah. So it was like just me and a buddy for like almost about a little over a year. And it was just out of my studio apartment. And we
Mhm.
were just like just cranking it. And it was just like took over my whole apartment. And then we just had to move to like a warehouse. So we finally got a warehouse. And then now we've got like 10 employees. We've done like over $1 million just this year. And then we have Black Friday coming up in like 2 days. That's going to be like insane, I think. And then yeah, it's just been a struggle. We can't even make enough stuff to sell, so we have to like we have these ads that work and
Uh-huh.
they make us more, but we have to shut them off because we can't even make the stuff as fast because it's all by
Wow.
hand. It's like scoop all these things in a jar and like
That's a good problem to have, though.
it's an incredible
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, the best problem like possibly. It's been like an absolute dream come true because I was like when I was in the van, like right after that, like I was just broke. Like I lost like because I had like a big startup that I went to. We raised all this money and like I was like rich on paper and then just like was to zero on paper and I was like in debt
Okay.
and it just got worse and worse and worse. And then yeah, this just kind of like flipped everything on its head.
So with the, the expansion of your production and you have facilities and employment or employees now, I'm curious of like, where do you find your product at? Cause obviously you have to source it or work with people as well, because it's not from my site, in my view, it's not like everyday products. It's kind of things that are lesser known.
Yeah.
Or maybe they are and you're easily able to get them, but how do you, or where do you get your stuff?
A lot of them is just like these bulk sites, like these bulk companies that do like larger quantities. Like the
Mhm.
hardest thing to source, like eggshells, is hard to source. And then what else is hard to source? Yeah, it's really like eggshells and then clay for the tooth powder, like this special like clay. It's like volcanic ash, so it's
Okay.
yeah.
Not just sitting on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah, it's I mean you can get some of it at like Target or something, but they have it in like small containers, so it's just super expensive and then that drives up everything. But yeah, it's not too hard to source. Like because most of the ingredients are edible too. So a lot of them like have way more uses. Like the clay people use for like face masks and the eggshells people use like for pet food sometimes. And then yeah, like olive oil is just like obviously like a food, and then honey is just a food. It's like most of that's what we try to do is like simple ingredients with like as edible as we could possibly make it. Just because I think like anything you put on your skin, like you're eating that basically, just not through your mouth.
Do
What
you ever
about
go for
yeah,
it?
go ahead. I was gonna say, what about some like lessons that you've learned over the course of, this business starting and to where it is now? I'm sure there's been some hiccups that you've run
Yeah.
into or
I think like in
orders
order
that you've
to
filled and yeah.
yeah, like just like supply chain management is like in like way harder than I thought it would be. Just like making sure you have enough of everything because you have
Mm-hmm.
5 ingredients for one product, and then you start adding more products, and you have 6 products. Then there's like 30 different ingredients, and then if you run out of one ingredient, then that kills one product, and then every single order with that product in there can't be shipped out. So like one little mistake just cascades into like delays for 50 like different things. So
Wow.
yeah, that just crushes everything. So like that's what we had like last Black Friday. We thought we would sell like a little bit, and we didn't fill those orders for like a month and a half almost because we just didn't have the stuff. Everyone's like running out. We couldn't buy enough. It was like that, and then just like the ability to like delegate stuff because I'm just like I want everything to be perfect. I don't want the stickers to be perfect. I want the product to be perfect. So like letting someone else do it without just being over their shoulder the entire time. Like we had
Mm-hmm.
to do that initially, but yeah, that's just like something that's always been hard because like I'm putting like my face out there, not like necessarily like very broadcasted, but like if people have a problem with it, they're gonna come to me and tell me about their problems. Like I want no problems, obviously. But
Right.
yeah, trusting
Yeah.
people to like do it is definitely the hardest thing. But that's the only way you could really take the next step. Because if I'm making products all day, I can't think about new products or I can't do like marketing and that's when you
That's
take the next step, I think.
it's kind of what I was going to run back and circle back to when you said like simple ingredients that you can eat or like that are edible, and then you're saying some of your customers are like giving it to their cats or whatever. Have you had some of them like say like, hey, I've tried it this way and it works really well, and you're like, oh, I never thought this product would do that. Now let's start marketing it for that.
The biggest thing was like people with the tooth powder was the first product. People like they like it was one person that was like, I haven't dreamed in 10 years and now I'm having dreams every night. And I was like, all right, that's maybe just a one-off. And then it
Uh-huh.
started like everybody started like I'm having these crazy vivid dreams. I'm having these crazy vivid dreams. Just hundreds and hundreds of reviews and messages. I'm just like, I had no idea why it's happening, like what's going on there, but I don't know if it's like the anti-fluoride or they're getting like minerals.
Huh.
It's a really heavy mineral toothpaste. Like there's just tons of like calcium and whatever minerals in there. So that was like the craziest thing that just because we don't even understand what dreams are like now. So I couldn't possibly explain why this toothbrush is making you dream, but it's just so consistent that it's wild. These people
That's
that are
wild.
like smoking weed for a long time and they hadn't had dreams for a long time, and now they're having like Game of Thrones. Like one of these guys said, like he's like living Game of Thrones episodes every night.
All right, so tooth powder, it's not a common thing. I'm just wondering, how do you use it? What are the major benefits,
Yeah.
as opposed to regular toothpaste?
So like tooth powder used to be like Colgate's one of Colgate's first products was like a tooth powder. Tooth powder used to be like that's what everybody used. And then they started selling these pastes with like soap inside of it. So like the toothpaste will have like an ingredient called sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, which is like it's a detergent technically, but it's basically a soap. It's what makes you like have that foamy toothpaste, which everybody like relates to being clean, like having a clean mouth. You want that foam, which
Hmm.
is not the case. Like that foam is just it's poison. Like like people have like horrible reactions from it. They get ulcers from it. Healthy people can handle it, and it won't like it's not gonna kill you obviously because people use it every day, but it's just not good. Like that sodium lauryl sulfate, and then the fluoride I think just makes people like stupider over time. It just like they just get like blank stares, and then like beyond that it just like I think it leads to like cancer, and then like glycerin is in toothpaste which like coats your teeth with like it's like vegetable glycerin. So then the minerals that are in the toothpaste can't really get into your teeth, so you can't remineralize your teeth. So it's just like a horrible design. But what toothpaste does is gives you that like dirty mouth feeling in the morning. If you brush your teeth at night, your mouth is going to feel horrible the next day. So you have to brush again, or else it's going to feel horrible. But when you use like, the tooth powder, it's like clay, it's charcoal powder, it's like eggshell, so it doesn't like destroy all the bacteria in your mouth. It just like remineralizes your teeth. Because a lot of people don't know like your saliva has all these minerals. It has like copper, magnesium, and when you just destroy your mouth, like your saliva is like fighting to survive. All of your mouth like bacteria is just like dead. So then while you're sleeping, it's just like all like battling in there to try to survive. And then if you don't kill all that stuff, like then your saliva stays super mineralized. And if you give it this mineral tooth powder, it gets like a topped up on those minerals basically.
Hmm.
And then you don't get that dirty mouth feeling. So you wake up, you might even forget to brush your teeth because you don't have plaque build up. It's just a wild thing. Like I
And
just
you recommend like once a day?
yeah, I think like you can kind of I'd probably use like 5 to 8 times a week. I want to take the charcoal out and then I'd probably use it more.
Mm.
But yeah, then I would
So
use
you
like
mix it. Do you mix it with a little bit of water then and put it on
oh
your
yeah, how do you
toothbrush?
use?
Is
I
that
guess you like you get your toothbrush wet like normal, or some people do that, and then you
Yeah.
just shake the excess off, and then like dip the top in and just try to not get water like in the jar, but just so like a little bit in there. And then a lot of people like I think scrub their teeth, but like you really just need to like massage.
Got it. So
Yeah.
just you get it wet, it kind of attracts to your brush and you
Yeah.
just go to town right there.
so?
I,
All right, I got a follow-up question here because you see on every dental hygiene, every like toothpaste commercial, it says 4 out of 5 dentists recommend this.
Yeah.
What is that about? Why? Who is the fifth dentist the one that knows what he's talking about, or what?
Well, yeah, I always say like 9 out of 10 dentists don't recommend my tooth powder because dentists are like morons. I don't think they know anything. Like dentists know exactly what they were taught to know, and then they think that's factual, just like doctors, just like, but we have like the fattest population ever. We have the most unhealthy people. People are on SSRIs. Like they're just not healthy. Doctors have no clue what they're doing. Dentists have even less of a clue. Like if you just look at wisdom teeth, for example, like wisdom teeth like come in sideways for everybody, but
Mhm.
they'll show you these scary x-rays where it's like, oh, it's impacting and it's gonna fuck up your whole mouth, but your face will put it right where it needs to be. And if you just wait, but they always just like rip them out of your mouth, and it makes no sense. But they think it's right. I don't think they're ill-intentioned or anything, but they're just like indoctrinated. Like these people just have
Right.
medical school. They've been in school for so long, they don't know any other way.
So this leads me to my next question too, because you've been attacking, right? Like Burt's Bees, you talked about it earlier, like they got sold out by Clorox, so they're all different. You keep saying like taking down big paste, excuse me. Are you getting any like pushback? Do people kind of,
Just
are you
like
getting
some
any like
people.
cease and
Yeah,
desist or anything like that
no,
either? Like
no,
the companies or just people?
nothing from the companies. Like, I mean, they'll probably eventually say something, but like, I'm never saying anything wrong. I'm saying like what ingredients they use. But yeah, just like a lot of like vegans in the comments or like, it's a lot of people with pronouns basically.
Got it. I bought some of your product, the tallow and honey, the moisturizer.
Yeah.
Is that again the same? Are these all just like, I have an idea. Let me research good ingredients. What are the simple things that you need to have in order to have like a good moisturizer? Is that kind of how that
For that one, that was
led to
like
that
that was
product?
kind of like a gift basically. I made the eggshell tooth powder, and then this girl reached out and said, like, hey, I've been using eggshells to brush my teeth with coconut oil for years. And she had this huge TikTok account. And then I just go and look at her TikTok account. It's like her mom is like this famous doctor. And she had this like homemade uh like facial moisturizer thing. And I didn't even know what tallow was. Like I maybe thought I knew what it was, but I don't think I did. And then I just saw it was like olive oil, honey, beef tallow. Like, this is perfect. This is totally edible. So I wanted to try it. And then I just tried it and like burned myself in the process of making it and put that stuff on. And like there was no blister or anything. And then like putting it on my face for the next few days, like this is insane. Like the stuff is so soft. Like some people like don't like the smell, but like we're working on that to try to get it a little better. But
My dog doesn't mind it. I went
yeah, the dogs
hiking
love
with,
it.
yeah, I went hiking with shorts on. So I like scraped up my legs through all like the brush, and I came back and I was putting that on my legs to kind of like heal it. Yeah, it worked really fast, healed up, no scars. But yeah, my dog would come by and
Yeah, lick it
check
up.
check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it works as like a neosporin replacement. Like I think it's like the best anti-aging thing. Like that's what we designed it for, is like a facial moisturizer. But
Mm.
like people were using on toe infections, on like athlete's foot, on like all on eczema. Some people have had like problems for 10 years, they were saying, and they do this and 3 days later it's completely gone. Like it was just like I didn't even expect that at all. I was like, all right, we have a pretty good moisturizer. Maybe it'll be pretty good, but like it just seems like the way how good this stuff works compared to other stuff, like they're really just not using any quality ingredients in these like big name products anymore.
What about your social media following? You've got a pretty big social media following at this point. What would you attribute that success to?
I think like Twitter is all about like you have to say something that like half the people will agree with and half the people won't. So then there's like arguments in the comments basically.
Thing.
If you're just like a vanilla, like I say, like if you just say things that won't ruffle anybody's feathers, then you're not going to grow on Twitter because nobody's going to argue with you. And that's where everyone who likes to argue, I think, goes on Twitter. And then like that's how it like used to be, I guess. And then now you kind of like, if you post like longer threads work. I really don't like the threads though, but
Yeah.
I think a
Here's
lot
a
of
thread.
growth on Twitter is like commenting on other people's accounts too, like adding value to their posts with like a different way of thinking of what they're thinking of, like not necessarily arguing, but just like adding some context to your own life to like relate to their post. I think that's like the easiest way to grow on Twitter initially. Otherwise, you're just talking to a wall. Like on
And then
Twitter.
Instagram's the opposite, right? Less text, more visual.
Yeah,
You
Instagram
have
is just like
quite a few followers there as well. Like, what are you learning for growing business that way?
Instagram is like all about the stories now. It seems like you have to like post stories consistently. Otherwise, like people who are visiting your page, they might scroll a bit, but I think everybody like looks at the stories now. Not everybody, like a lot more than I thought. And then I think engaging, like I don't know if you know who that knees over toes guy is.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
because I got a bad knee, so I follow his exercises as well.
He just followed the account too, so I was like stoked because he's a huge guy now. But yeah, like he said something on the Joe Rogan podcast, like about how he answered like 10,000 messages, or it might have been 100,000 messages or something, and like on Instagram. And I think that's like number one, like be responsive. If you have a message, like answer it immediately. If you have comments, try to reply to every single comment. So I've done that like religiously. Like I wake up, I check Instagram DMs and respond to everybody, and just like throughout the day, even try to keep it like conversational. So I think that's just big. If people send you a message and you have to wait 2 days, they've already forgotten about it. You got to get them when you're like top of mind, and then they start of like this sort of becomes like informal, and then it's more like not a business to business, but more like person to person talking.
Mm-hmm. So what's the plan, man? Moving forward, where's the VanMan Company going? And what could we expect coming out?
Yeah, I think we got soap coming and deodorant. It's just taking forever. Like soap takes like a month to cure, so you like have to get the recipe right, and then it has to cure, and then you have to test if it's right after that. So that's taking forever. And then deodorant is just like, I don't think it's possible to make a deodorant that everybody likes. So you're just eventually gonna have to like, I'm gonna have to settle on something, but we're just not there yet with like the ingredients. But
Are you still testing all of these things on yourself?
yeah. So it's like a human test thing right now. But yeah, I like that part of it.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want
that
to
is
take
really
everything
exciting.
back. I want to go from like just like the bathroom basically to like dish soap to laundry detergent, then
Mhm.
eventually go to like even like a candy bar, like snacks, and then like cleaning products. And then like the whole like grand vision, I want to like try to like vertically integrate all those ingredients. So like for the beef tallow, we would buy like a beef farm, like a cattle farm. And then
Mhm.
from that cattle farm, we would sell like top quality beef, and we would sell like a bee farm, and then we would have sell honey out of that. It's like that's like the real thing, because I just feel like the food is like, if you want really good food, you have to pay ridiculous amounts of it for these organic tags that mean nothing anymore.
Mhm.
You're just kind of like, you're just like paying so much money for this grass-fed beef when every cow should just be grass-fed and they should all be out there. But they just have all these like soybean fields and stuff. So I just want to like just buy as much land as I can and like repurpose it to be like grazing animals, basically.
Love it. And
Wow.
helping the people out, helping us get
Yeah,
healthy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Drop the price of meat, hopefully.
Well, I mean, you're really successful right now, and I don't think we've mentioned you're based out of San Diego.
Yeah,
Just looking at reviews online, 4.8 out of 5 stars.
yeah,
900 reviews. I mean, that's excellent. That is really, really good.
Giving the people
So
what they want.
give the
yeah.
people what they want. Continue to do it, man. Again, he is Van Man. He is at Man with a Van on Twitter. The VanMan Company on Instagram, www.vanman.shop. Anything else you want to plug? Anything else you want to tell the people?
Black Friday coming up.
Oh yeah, Black Friday's coming up. On Black Friday. Yeah, it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 25% off. That's the only sale we do all year, so it should be pretty nuts.
All right, there you go. Go to the site, buy everything. 25% off Black Friday.
There
Thanks
it
for
is.
being here, man.
Yeah,
Thanks a
thank
lot.
you.
All right. Thanks again to our guest, VanMan. Again, if you get a chance, go out to that website, www.vanman.shop. Take a look at some of their products and gear up for Black Friday. They got 25% off all products. Evan, week 11, another week in the NFL, another loss for our Chicago Bears. But was there anything to celebrate? How did you feel after that game?
Another heartbreaker. I feel like, losing by 3 to the Falcons, a team they definitely could have beat. But there was a lot of good, I feel like, in this game. Mooney scored a touchdown. Cole Kmet had a couple nice catches. And Justin Fields with another 85 yards on the ground and a rushing touchdown. Montgomery scored a touchdown. I mean, overall, pretty solid performance, from Fields until he got hurt at the end. A little bit concerning. We'll see if he's ready to go next week.
Mm-hmm.
Been getting kind of mixed reports on that, whether it's
Right.
a dislocated shoulder or not. Still seems like it's up in the air. But overall, I've seen enough of Justin Fields over the last 3 weeks to know
Mhm.
that he's the guy going forward. You have to, continue to build around him. And I'm happy with where they're at. And more losses. I feel like losing the rest of the season out, get us a good pick. I think right now we're in the top 5
Yep.
and are in prime spot to get, either a left tackle or, an edge rusher
Right.
or a wide receiver, one of those spots that they really need. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think we kind of established that we're okay with the losing as long as Fields is looking the way he's looked. And he had another good game before he got hurt. Still, some people are saying, he can't really sit in the pocket. And he had another pass where he keeps doing it. He keeps like staring down a receiver and then just guns it onto like a D lineman's helmet, and the ball just
Yeah.
pops up. And early in the season, he's had an interception doing that. So I'd like to see that stop. My only one concern, I mean, Cole Kmet is just having a coming out party here these last 3 weeks. That one-handed grab while getting hit over the middle, holding onto it, coming down is like, this is the badass tight end we thought we drafted. Finally, maybe being put in a place to succeed. My one concern is Chase Claypool. I know it's only been 3 weeks since we've got him in Chicago. but he hasn't done anything. He's barely out there. I think like he's not an everyday receiver. I think they're still trying to kind of implement, the playbook. Also, I think they're a little concerned that he's not as good of a blocker on the outside as Pettis or St. Brown, because those guys are out there all the time when they run those design runs. It's because they're one of the better blocking receivers in the league, and I think that's why they got him anyways. So I think they want him to shore up his blocking, learn the playbook, but also a second round pick that we traded for him. He should be doing a little bit more, right? We should be able to put him out there and he should produce.
Yeah, I mean, the last 3 weeks he's been 35%, 31%, 42% of the snaps on offense. So not great. You want to see that up in the 70%, I would say, range. That's where Equinemius St. Brown has been. You got to see him on the field more. Maybe he's not learning the playbook as quickly, but he's a big guy. He should be able to block like St. Brown or Pettis or, some of these other guys. I mean, he's huge. So I'm not buying that. I think,
I'm
I
just
think it has to do with
confused.
the
I'm
playbook.
confused why
I'm
it's
not
not
really
out
sure.
there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure on that either.
And it's not really being talked about, It's like, another week without Chase Claypool, who you just traded a second round pick for, doing nothing. I don't know. It seems as though we got a good culture, so trust in the process, trust in Eberflus and the coaching staff and Getsy that they're going to get it right.
Yeah, last place right now at 3-8, but whatever. Another highlight from this game, I guess, was Cordero Patterson breaking the kick return record. I think that was previously he was tied with Joshua Cribbs and Leon Washington. So now he stands alone, former Bear. So shout out to Cordero Patterson. All right, Dan, let's move over to the Bulls. They beat the Celtics, but lost to the Magic without
4 games before that
without
as well.
Paolo, I think. I mean, it's
they didn't have Ben Caro out there.
So what are we seeing here with this team? If I look on Twitter, it's everyone running around with their heads cut off.
I was in a dark place, man. I was in a dark place after that Magic game. That was the 4th loss in a row. Magic were visiting Chicago, so they were the away team. In the Vucevic trade, we gave them Wendell Carter and the draft pick they drafted, Franz Wagner, who's awesome. And I think Jalen Suggs posted thank you Chicago picture with half of their faces both on it after they beat us. It's been tough. It's been a tough season. It's been tough to be a fan. The players, I mean, they beat the Celtics, but they beat them before. They kind of just seem to have that team's number. I think we just match up really well with them, which is exciting if we squeak into the playoffs and we're a low seed and they're a high seed, and that's our first round matchup. That would be ideal. But the day-to-day, we're looking like a team that isn't concerned about the regular season. I'm wondering if this is a typical of the NBA the last few years where teams kind of autopilot the first half of the season, and then after the All-Star break, they kind of turn it on. That's why a lot of people were kind of dogging the Bulls last year when they came out. They're in first place in the East before the All-Star break. And then the team started playing a little harder in the second half, and the Bulls slid, albeit they got health as well, a reason of that. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of out on this team. I want to see AK Mark Eversley be aggressive. I want to see a shakeup. I want to see them go out and get some dogs, some people that are just like hated around the league. And you hate them when your team plays them. Like Montrezl Harrell or a Morris twin. Give me somebody that's like going to be like the fans are going to absolutely hate. The one silver lining, Pat Williams crossed up Jason Tatum like twice yesterday. Had a career or not a career, a season high 17.
Feels like
he was 6 for 9 from the field, right? So it's like super efficient as well. That's the whole thing. The whole thing is that he needs to do that. If he can do that.
We keep talking about P-Will and some of the other role players like Drummond and things like that. But what about the core? Vooch missed those free throws against the Magic, right? And then Suggs hit the 3 to win it. He makes those free throws. They're not in that position. He's one of the core players on this team. He's got to make those shots. And then what about Zach? Not even playing.
Doesn't look great
down the stretch.
Got benched.
There's no confidence in him to play down the stretch, and then he's dogging the coaching staff in the locker room after the game. Like, there's a lot of other stuff going on here. And I think to just focus on, yeah, P. Will, you need him to progress, but also you need
Just
your
let me focus on
stars to
P. Will,
like,
all right?
you need your stars to
It's the
like show
meme where
up.
like the little dog's at the table and the whole apartment's on fire, and he's like, "This is fine." That's me talking about Patrick Williams having a season high 17 points. That's
Yeah.
exactly what that is. The whole thing's burning down, but that little stat makes it all better.
So where do they go from here? What do you think? Blow it
I
up?
Yeah, I would love to see them move. I mean, I think they should. Maybe DeMar, his value is not as high as it was last year, and Zach is very questionable. But I think teams like the Mavericks are looking at him. I know the Lakers have always been linked to kind of DeMar and Zach as well. And I just hope that they're aggressive. I mean, too many times the Bulls kind of sit on their players and they lose value and they end up trading them for not the best return packages. And we're kind of just in this state of always kind of, treading water in the middle, to where you look at other franchises, they tear it down, they get the top lottery picks and they sign a big free agent. I'm pretty much talking about the Cavs right now. And then they become one of the most exciting teams in the NBA. So I want to see them be aggressive. I want AK Mark Eversley to make some moves here.
Okay. All right.
All right, so let's go
And-
to waiver wire Wednesday, man. Fantasy season's coming down to kind of the final weeks here. It's a really important waiver wire. Is there anybody still out there, though? I feel like at this time of the year, it's either been stashed or plucked, or, I mean, players are getting released as well. So is anybody out there really going to make a difference on your team?
Yeah, there is. And Latavius Murray would be the first person that I would mention here. Melvin Gordon just got waived, and Chase Edmonds is hurt. Latavius Murray's 32. He's been around the league. He was with the Ravens. He was with the Saints. Now he's in Denver. But in the time that he's been there, he's looked all right, and he's getting most of the work, which is the most important part. So if you got a guy who's going to get workhorse type touches, whether he's 32 or Frank Gore used to be the model of that. If he's going to get the majority of the touches, who cares how old he is and if he's going to keep playing. So I would pick up Latavius Murray. I think there's nobody here that's going to challenge him for work. I think Marlon Mack is somebody that's behind him, but he's way I would much rather have Latavius Murray. So I think he's going to get the majority of the touches there. If Rashad White is out there, though, you got to go for him because Leonard Fournette's banged up and White started the last game prior to the bye. So maybe with them on bye, he was out there on the wire. You got to grab him. And then Samaje Perine is another nice name here with Mixon in concussion protocol. Perine scored 3 touchdowns this week. I would grab him because it's looking iffy if Mixon's going to be out there this week. So those are like kind of the 3 big names that I would look for. Another running back, maybe Isaiah Pacheco, if he's still out there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire just wasn't getting touches anyways, and then he's got a high ankle sprain now. So it's really just going to be Pacheco and McKinnon. And Pacheco is going to get most of the work there. So if he's out there, grab him. If you need a quarterback, Deshaun Watson could be available. He's only 48% rostered. He's coming back not this week, but the following week. So you might have him for the stretch run. And then Jimmy G had 4 touchdowns. That receiving core and the skill position around him, like, might be one of the best ever with Debo and Kittle. And yeah, so you gotta look for him too. I think he's got some nice matchups here. Wide receivers, Christian Watson and Treylon Burks, a couple rookies that are looking good with Watson has Aaron Rodgers. He's getting some looks in the red zone from him and really no competition for playing time. Treylon Burks is the wide receiver 1, I think, already for the Titans. He just came back 2 weeks ago from injury and had 100 yards his second game back here. So he looks good. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I mentioned last week too. He had another nice game with Jacoby Brissett and he's going to get Watson back here in 2 weeks. So I like him as well, again, as another pickup. And if you need a tight end, it's kind of brutal out there at this point. Tough. Yeah, Foster Moreau for Vegas is okay. Taysom Hill.
It's like every tight end. All right.
Yeah, Taysom Hill is another one that, like, he might get you 10 points. He might get you 2. You don't really know, but he's somebody that, I'd bet on more often than some of these other guys that are out there. Defense, Miami plays Houston this week. That's a nice pickup as well. So those are your week 12 pickups. Let's go to rapid fire here. Let's do the week 12 picks. Dan, how'd you end up doing last week?
8-6. Bears continue to lose. Would have been 9-5 if I don't pick the Bears. But let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. So Thursday, we got the Thanksgiving games coming up here. The first game is going to be Bills at Lions,
Bills.
Giants at Cowboys,
Cowboys looked real good last week. Cowboys.
Patriots at Vikings.
Vikings.
All right. And then Sunday, we got Broncos at Panthers. One's going to be ugly.
Mm-hmm. Panthers changing quarterback.
Ooh. Yeah, they're going to Sam Darnold now. All right. Buccaneers at Browns,
Bucks.
Ravens at Jags,
Ravens.
Texans at Dolphins,
Dolphins.
Bears at Jets.
Bears.
I mean, really could win that one. Zach Wilson's looked really, really bad.
Yeah,
Bengals at Titans.
if Fields plays. Bengals, Titans, Bengals.
Falcons at Commanders.
Commanders.
Chargers at Cardinals.
My Arizona Cardinals. Chargers.
Raiders at Seahawks.
Raiders.
Rams at Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Saints at 49ers.
Niners.
Packers at Eagles.
Eagles.
And then the Monday game is Steelers at Colts.
That's a bad game. Colts.
Yeah. Yeah, that is going to be a tough one. So those are your picks for week 12. We did waiver wire. You and I play this week, Dan. We'll have to give you guys an update next
okay.
week.
All right.
The big matchup, like you said, I think if I win, you might be knocked out of playoff contention here. And if you
Just
win,
gotta win out. Just gotta
might
win
lose a
out.
bye. Yeah, you just got to win out. All right. I do have a fast fact for you. How many
What is it?
pieces of fruit does it take to make 1 gallon of cider? I told you I was drinking cider today.
How many pieces of fruit?
Yeah. So if we're doing apple
no
cider, how many
specific fruit?
apples?
Apples?
How many apples? Yeah. How many apples do you think it takes to make 1 gallon of cider?
1,000?
1,000 apples?
It's a lot of
Takes-
apples.
36 pieces of fruit to make 1 gallon of apple cider.
Okay. Little off.
So yeah, well, it's an interesting guess, but that is your fast fact.
Not my best.
Hey, thanks again to VanMan for joining us. For Dan Sluck, I'm Evan Bierman. You've been listening to the Domestic Draft Podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, don't forget to rate the show. You can find us on Twitter at Domestic Draft, on Instagram at Domestic Draft Podcast. Our website is domesticdraft.com. You can watch the show on YouTube. Just search up Domestic Draft and drop us a sub. Thanks again for listening.
Cheers.
Cheers.